My name's Elise and I'm a North Face ambassador on their Explorer team. So I think I'd say I was definitely a bit of an unlikely explorer. I was not a sporty kid at all. My brother went to cross country and won races, and I used to sit in the car and ask my mum to take me to McDonald's. I hated going outside. I used to complain on every walk. And I think I always just thought that sport and the outdoors was stuff you did if you were good at it and you were going to win a race, and if you weren't going to, there was no point bothering. And then I got into the outdoors at university. I wanted to get a bit fitter. I was a student, I couldn't afford to go to the gym, so I made a New Year's resolution to run a half marathon. And I remember going out for that first run and I literally couldn't run around the block. I did 10 minutes and I was shaking putting my key back in the door. But there was something about it, I kept plugging away, and after about a month I could run 5k, and that just felt miraculous. And I was kind of hooked from there, although more in theory than in practice. I was spending a lot of time reading about people doing ultras and it just seemed amazing, but I just still thought there's no way I could ever do that. So I've been running for a couple of years. I'd say I dabbled in running when in March 2015 I had the idea to run around the coast of Britain. I was literally sitting at work one day and it popped into my mind. I was totally unqualified to do this. I was not a seasoned ultra runner. So I decided to set off 6 months later and have a go at running a lap of Britain, which was 10 months and 5,000 miles. And yeah, I really was the most unqualified person to do it. I don't think any of my family or friends ever thought I'd do it. But over those 10 months, and I started off super slowly, I was running 10 miles a day. It was not a great athletic feat to start, but I just kind of slowly built up and up towards the end, where I was running kind of 30 miles a day with somewhat ease, which feels madness now. And I think it just proved to me how much I think we are made to move. I truly believe if I could run around a country, literally anyone in the world can. And I think the fact that, yeah, over this 10 months it just became something that was so natural. Yeah, and then I guess I was an ultra runner. I think there's just something that feels really natural about exploring, in that way that you can be the most unlikely person to do it, and yet you get outside and you start moving and your body kind of catches up with the game. And I think we are made to move around on our feet, and I just love being outside in a way that I struggle to explain why, but I feel like when I'm outside and moving and exploring, the world just makes a bit more sense. And they're my favourite days, especially because when you spent a whole day outside in the rain, the going inside and putting a warm jumper on and having a cup of tea is just the best thing, which is probably why it's worthwhile. I think exploring and trail running will definitely be in my life, especially because it's just such a big part of kind of all my social life. It's something I do with both my parents are runners, I do it with all my best friends. I just really can't imagine that not being something I do now. And whenever I have kind of a phase of maybe being injured or just being really busy and not getting outside enough, I instantly notice just how much grumpier and more miserable I am. My flatmate was always saying if I was a bit grumpy, she was like, just go outside, go for a run, and like magic, you just feel a bit better. Yeah, I think there's something really positive for mental health about running and being outside, in the way it's just so much simpler. You're not worrying about all these things that you need to kind of buy or have. You're just out there and it's very simple. All you need when you're on the trails is enough food, a night's sleep beforehand, water. And it's really nice, I think, to strip things back, and I think it really helps me forget about all the kind of complicated stuff that doesn't really matter but we sit at home and worry about anyway. The main thing I've learnt from exploring and trail running is that you can always do a bit more than you think you can. And I think when I'm going for a long run or doing an ultra marathon, I have to break it down into chunks and not think about the whole thing, because it just feels like you've bitten off way more than you can chew, but you just have to think, oh, I can always run another mile and then another mile and then another mile. And I think it can apply that to most things. I've just written a book and it was exactly the same. It was the thought of writing a book was crazy, but I was like, I can just do another page. So I think just that ability to kind of break things down, and you don't have to be able to do the whole thing at once, you just have to be able to do that next mile. I knew that I was really keen to get involved with the North Face as an ambassador when I had kind of a first call with them, and they were talking about how much they wanted their ambassadors and athletes to get out and use their kit, not just kind of pose with it in the park in a photo. And I think I really like that, kit is there to facilitate having adventures, and I think their whole philosophy really is geared around that, and I think that's really important. I love the Vective flight shoes. They're white, so I've got them really muddy, which I think is a testament to how much I've worn them. They've got the carbon plates in, which I have not done justice to, as I've done a lot of plodding around the woods over the past few months, but I just think they're super comfy. I put them on and I feel like I want to go for a run. It's really impressive, kind of the North Face being newer to making trail shoes, that the fact they've made such a fantastic series that cater to so many people. So I think my perfect adventure would involve running along a stretch of coast path, so predictable, and so you could have a swim at the end and with a friend you'd maybe have a bit of rubbish weather in the middle, so you feel like you really had earned the run, but then the sun would be out at the end when you go to the pub for the post-run beer.